Today marks the 75th anniversary of the 10th of March 1945 Tokyo firebombings. 100,000 people, primarily women, children and other civilians, were killed, and the entirety of the east side of Tokyo was all but wiped out. It remains the largest conventional weapons bombing in human history. Today, I'm traveling around Tokyo to pay my respects. My first stop today is Yokoamicho Park. The air raid attack started on Tokyo on the 18th of April 1942 and continued until the very end of the war on the 15th of August 1945. This structure is the Tokyo Toredo, the Tokyo Metropolitan Hall of Repose, and it is associated with not just the victims of the 1945 and indeed the 1942 to 1945 firebombings, but also the victims of the 1923 earthquake. The symbol in white on the purple banners there is the seal of the Tokyo metropolis. It's a stylized ginkgo leaf and was designed by Kenji Ekowan, the guy who designed the Kikkoman soy sauce bottle. These are some pieces from the original structure of the Tokyo Toredo, which was built in 1930, but of course then reconstructed after the Second World War. So this building dates back to 1951. There's the three-story pagoda of the Tokyo Toredo in the background. This monument here is one of the very, very few which honors the victims of the Tokyo air raid, so that we can learn the lessons and the future can be better for humanity. And it was supported by contributions from many individuals in response to an initiative led by the Association for the Remembrance of Victims of the Tokyo air raids and the Pursuit of Peace. The flowers covering the sloped front symbolize life, and preserved within the monument is the role of the Tokyo air raid victims, recording the names of those who passed away and suffered. The Buddhist ceremony which is taking place inside here normally has around 400 attendees, but unfortunately, due to the novel coronavirus COVID-19, only 20 people were invited this year, which is such a shame considering that this year is the 75th anniversary of the 10th of March 1945 firebombing. These wreaths have been laid here, each one coming from a different district, a different chome around East Tokyo. Here's an interview about to begin with two of the firebombing survivors. I've just been over there to pay my respects to all of the victims, and really not just the victims of the firebombing of Tokyo or of Japan, but indeed all of the innocent victims of war. Some photos from that horrific day, the aftermath of the firebombing. Yokoamicho Park is no stranger, unfortunately, to tragedy. This park was the scene of huge deaths during the 1923 earthquake, which struck on the 1st of September 1923 at 11:58 a.m., leading to huge fires which raged all around the city. About 30,000 people, some say 40,000, had actually gathered in this park, but by about 4 p.m. fires from 3 different sides came in and incinerated all of the people who were assembled here. The park also contains this remembrance hall, which is a museum dedicated to the victims of the 1923 earthquake and the Second World War Tokyo firebombings. There are a few people here today handing out leaflets about various initiatives to raise awareness of the Tokyo firebombing. There's Adrian Francis, director of the film Paper City, which memorializes the story of 3 survivors of the firebombing, and a group over there. It's very, very important, in my opinion, that we remember the lessons of war. Otherwise, we really are doomed to repeat them. Here's a memorial bell. This is the statue of spirit to remember the children who died in the disasters. Due to the preventative measures that have been put in place to attempt to stop the spread of COVID-19, obviously the atmosphere in the city has been very different over the last 4 weeks, but it really was important to me to be out here on the streets of my city on this momentous anniversary of these horrific events. I think growing up over the last 30 or so years, it's tough to conceive in the developed world of the scale of the carnage that hit Tokyo and many other cities in Japan during the Second World War. And basically it explains why the city looks the way it does. And people had to rebuild, and they tended to rebuild structures like that. Here, for example, is the Ekoin Temple, which was destroyed again during the Tokyo air raids. I'm now walking on my way from Ryogoku, where I was, to the Great Tokyo Air Raid Memorial Monument, which is on the banks of the Sumida River, which I'm actually crossing right here. This is one of the main thoroughfares of water on the east side of the city. The east side of Tokyo is absolutely wonderful place to explore the history of this great city. Down there are some yakitabane. At 1 o'clock here at the monument to the Great Tokyo Air Raid, there'll be a memorial ceremony. This message here of world peace is what it's about. Remembering these events and then making sure that they never ever happen to anybody ever again. Now this is all part of Sumida Park on the banks here of the Sumida River, which is full of cherry blossom trees that will soon be in bloom for the 2020 Sakura and Hanami season.
はじめに主催者を代表し、川杉元信実行委員長よりご挨拶を申し上げます。
で、私たちがいるこの場所は大正島、つまり空に向けて、強い明かりを発する、飛行機を探索する大正島の陣地で、たくさんのガソリンが積まれているそうです。したがってまさにこの場所がガソリンまで燃えた非常に何千度という温度、そのような 惨事を二度と繰り返さないということで、こんな足元の悪い時にこのような大勢の方々がこうして集まれる、亡くなった方、家族に会えなかった方とりましては、この場所がお墓なんですね。
東京大空襲犠牲者追悼集会にあたり、空襲の犠牲になられた皆さんとそのご遺族に心から追悼の言葉を送ります。1945年3月10日の東京大空襲は一夜にして10万人以上の命を奪いました。それでは75年前の3月10日、東京大空襲を体験されたお二人の証言をお聞きください。
戦争の時は東京大東区浅草花川の上下町屋の向こう側に住んでいた、小学校2年生の女の子でした。私はデパートの1階に火が入ったらしいんですね。猛煙と火が入ったものが全部、家も土地も国業も、ね、学校も何も焼けてしまったり。
時に新坂本町で大空襲を経験された広瀬渉さんに証言をお願いいたします。
そして私が東京大空襲にあったのは国民学校2年生です。
それでは黙祷始めます。黙祷終わります。皆様どうぞご着席ください。
So now people are coming to lay flowers at the monument. I also am going to lay a flower. Arigatou gozaimasu.
こちらこそありがとうございました。ぜひまた11月にはお会いできるかと。ぜひぜひありがとうございます。
It definitely needs some comment that we really are in the middle of nowhere at the end of Kototoi Bridge with this small monument, no English explanation at all, just there if you know. That, along with where we were this morning and a fairly anonymous statue in Ueno Park, are some of the very, very few memorials to the Tokyo air raids. With me is Adrian Francis. He's the director of Paper City, a film which follows the lives of 3 of the survivors of the Tokyo firebombing, and one of the most poignant scenes of the film actually takes place here at the Kototoi Bridge. Adrian, care to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, thanks. So I came here with Mrs. Kyoka, and on the night of March 10th, 1945, her and her family came from just behind Sentoji Temple, where they lived, and they fled to Kototoi Bridge and took refuge in the water. It was a freezing night, and she stayed there until morning, and when she came out, the whole city was devastated. So that's one of the scenes in our film.
Adrian, what made you want to make a film about such a tragic and horrific event, which is really not remembered by people?
I think when I grew up in Australia and I knew nothing, I was taught nothing about the firebombing. So about 6 or 7 years ago, when I first found out about it, it just blew my mind. 100,000 people killed in one night. But I think just as surprising is the fact that it's not really a part of Tokyo's identity, and people don't really talk about it.
Behind me in the distance, in the fog there, is the Tokyo Skytree, 634 meters tall, the second tallest structure on planet Earth, and a symbol of the continuing rebirth of this incredible city. You know, some people ask me why I end these videos with the words "we continue," and for me, that's exactly what it's about. Life goes on. We didn't start the fire, but we just have to keep going and going. And we do indeed continue, just like Tokyo and just like the sites around the world which have seen such horrific tragedy. We will go on, we will prevail in these current tough times. I think that message is more valid than ever before. It's been really hard to make this one and to really feel the pain, you know, talking to some of the survivors today and hearing their messages. It really is just all about one thing: world peace. And so all that's left for me to say is we continue.